We have reached the final day of the week. The Year Reality Collective ends off with a rather supersized episode, most likely, depending on how much I talk about. But there's a ton of stuff that came out on Friday because it's Friday. So, we're going to cover a ton of stuff from gaming, wrestling, and all that nonsense and delve right into it. First off, we're going to talk conspiracy. Tino Sabati, I'm pretty sure I butchered his last name wrong, re-signs with WWE and NXT. The NXT superstar Tino was released by WWE back in April as part of the company-wide cutbacks. The former NFL player has been a free agent since his release, but Mike Johnson, a PW insider, reported earlier today that he has signed a new deal with a new NXT deal with his former employees. However, Fightful Select reported he was at the Performance Center recently. He was included on an internal scheduling list at the training facility and ended up appearing at the center. His first stint lasted from 2014 to 2020 when the cuts happened. He spent much of that time in the company and the tag team with Roderick Moss, who no one cares about. They primarily competed on house shows, but they did infrequently wrestle on NXT as enhancement talent against the likes of Seth and DIY. He also returned on Moss after a loss to Heavy Machinery in April 2018, but he suffered a torn pectoral muscle a few weeks later and spent 22 months on the sidelines. He wrestled a handful of times after he returned in February 2020, but was released 2 months later. That's where the part gets interesting. I didn't bring this up last time. He also had a brief stint in AEW as Savvy following his WWE release. He only worked one set of dark tapings, though, and Fightful Select noted people within AEW blamed him for leaking information online. Chris Jericho previously claimed an NXT reject leaked news on Eric Bischoff's AEW Dynamite appearance on Reddit. So, let's look at the timeline. So let's say if this is true and he did leak the taping results and WWE learned this and gave him back his job. So if we were to, hypothetically speaking, combine this with WWE's need to kill AEW, which has top notch on that, guys, does that mean that Vince has AEW in his head and he's doing industrial sabotage, espionage? Pretty spooky, right? Yeah, so we don't know about the full details on that. It does say that there is some indications that he did do that and that he may have done that, but we'll have to see and get confirmation on that. But if this was part of an elaborate scheme by Vince to fire certain people just so they can go ahead and go to AEW and corporately go in and get some information like a big show like Fyter Fest 2 weeks in a row and leak information, and only to have one of their own talent trainers leak their own ending, which is sad. So naturally, this was a gigantic failure on that front. But like, they still got big viewership. But like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Vince had that thought because, it's Vince. He needs to find a way to kill anyone who dare or has a mentality of, I think we can go ahead and do our own thing. Oh, damn it! You do not take my pie. So we'll have to see. But pretty shady all around for the most part, some people could say. So, Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio and his family were drafted to Friday Night SmackDown, moving their long-running rivalry to the Blue brand for reasons. This means the three of the biggest feuds in the company, Reigns versus Uso, Bayley and Sasha Banks, and Rey versus the Mysterios, will now continue on SmackDown for the foreseeable future, while Bray Wyatt has his Wyatt-verse with Alexa Bliss going on Raw, Retribution with Ali, and Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Gotcha. So, according to Dave Meltzer, a key person in WWE told him the company decided to have the three feuds on SmackDown because of the Fox TV deal. As sports rights feeds looks set to continue to escalate in the next few years, there's a belief within the business that WWE may not be able to land a good TV deal if the Blue brand's ratings drop. A report from Bloomberg has already known that Fox is willing to spend $2 billion a year to retain their NFL contract, and this could limit the network's appetite to renew SmackDown in 2024 if they feel the product isn't providing value for money. Yeah, but like, wasn't it said that Fox wanted 5 million views a week, which WWE can never do? WWE doesn't have the same issue with USA Network, however. The company believes the network will renew Monday Night Raw TV deals essentially no matter what. Otherwise, USA risks collapsing in the ratings. So basically, what they're saying is we can produce shit on Monday. We can run NXT to the ground if we want to creatively to kill AEW, but Fox is the most important deal because Fox to do whatever they want. They're Fox, and especially now that part of them is owned by like the Disney conglomerate, the Disney dynasty, the empire. So yeah, and I'm thinking like Rollins and Mysterio. Can we please move on from them? Can we done this feud already? Like what's left to progress? Like they've lost virtually every single match, except for one tag team match, and that was just to advance Buddy Murphy's story. Why is the feud still going? And now I'm hearing word of SmackDown tonight that they're having Daniel Bryan fight Seth Rollins. So now it's like, now he has a three-way feud. He has Buddy Murphy going after him. Rollins is now being targeted by Bryan, and the Mysterio family's out to get Rollins' blood. So is it going to culminate in a fatal five-way Hell in a Cell match with Dominic and Rey Mysterio versus Buddy Murphy versus Daniel Bryan versus Seth Crybaby Rollins? If that's the case, it's going to be stupid probably and oversaturated because there's already 3 Hell in a Cell matches. What's the 4th one? Oh, damn it, I'm a genius. So WWE confirms that SmackDown on October 23rd will air on Fox Sports 1. So during Friday's SmackDown, WWE advertised the October 23rd episode will air on Fox Sports 1. This is due to the World Series airing on Fox in SmackDown's normal time slot. The show will still air at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah, they're screwed. Like, remember when they had a massive drop in viewership because no one really seems to watch on that Fox Sports 1 for some reason, it seemed. And then they had a big increase and they prided themselves in it because we got 100% increase. Except that was guaranteed because you're back on the main Fox network, not Fox Sports 1. So there's that heads up for all of you. Certain superstar is set for a big push. 3 ain't enough and I need 5. I need blah 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 blah. So according to Dave Meltzer, the idea behind the decision was to get Big E out of the comedic mode and make him a more serious competitor and give him a singles push in the process. Meltzer noted that talk of pushing Big E as a single star has started several weeks leading up to the WWE draft. And everything. Because there were also noted that while Big E, Daniel Bryan, and Jey Uso are expected to be main single baby faces on SmackDown going forward, Roman, Seth Rollins, and Sullivan and Corbin will be the biggest heels. Oh god. So fuck Kevin Owens. He's on Smack. So now Kevin Owens is going to once again go back to his identity crisis where he wants to go to Raw, hates that, goes to SmackDown, hates that. Then it's a repeated cycle. We're back. He's back where he started. He's just going to be turned into a single act, along with Otis. But really, who cares about the briefcase at this point? But yeah. So yeah, Big E is set for the big push. They see a big start in him. Hopefully, finally, it just took them way too long, and better late than never, I suppose. But honestly, I'm glad Big E's getting a big push. But why destroy something that didn't need to be fixed? Because why fix something that wasn't even broken? Because why can't Big E be both? Like, he could be comedic, backstage personality. Like, that's why everyone loved Rusev. One minute he's this happy-go-lucky guy, then he's kicking ass in the ring. Like, everyone loved that about Rusev. They related to him. But no. It can't be him being a comedian and then being super serious in the ring. No. He needs to be serious all the time. He needs to not smile, grit his teeth. He's like it's the 90s. But, it's Vince. He doesn't seem to get it. But, like, the idea that they're going to push Lars Sullivan and King Corbin, despite Lars Sullivan's recent little Instagram controversy that recently came out that I didn't cover, and King Corbin because who cares about Corbin at this point as a performer? Because I forgot about him. Why can't it be Sheamus? At least Sheamus is at least marketable to me. Like to me, the only thing I like about Corbin is his theme music, and then they butchered that with the royal court music. So there has been reports going around that Jay and Jimmy Uso will reunite and be a tag team once more once Jimmy returns from his torn ACL injury, which he's been having since this year. Um, Dave Meltzer noted this, saying that the plan is to keep the Usos together after Jimmy returns from injury. According to Meltzer, having couples on different brands isn't viewed as a big a deal as it once was, since talents are working 1 day a week since the start of the virus pandemic. However, that could change in the future, even if WWE never reverts to a 4-show a week schedule. Jimmy Uso recently said that he was targeting a return to the ring in January or February of 2021. Since Jimmy went undrafted in 2020's draft, he remains a free agent and can choose his brand when he returns from injury. Meanwhile, Jey Uso will challenge Roman Reigns for the title in the first ever I Quit match inside Hell in a Cell at the incoming pay-per-view. So, yeah, I didn't see the Usos breaking up. Like, the New Day, you can break them up and they can be stars, but the Usos, because of their twin blood, they're the twins, the kind of, like I said, like, I even keep forgetting Jey Uso is Jimmy or Jimmy is Jay and whatnot. Like, yeah, I'm screwed on that. And Jay cut this big promo about how he's always been told, which one are you? And I totally get that because I keep forgetting half the time. So Jimmy being gone, sadly for unfortunate circumstances, honestly was probably the best thing that ever happened to Jay. So, remember Raw Underground? That concept that was a shoot style fights, which was basically Fight Club but suckier? Like, if Fight Club sucked? I still don't get what the purpose was. Okay, so so they pushed this one guy as undefeated, only for Braun Strowman to beat him, and then afterwards it just disappeared. Now, originally this was reportedly dropped for a few weeks due to the virus outbreak that happened for the third freaking time in WWE. And fear that the extras in the crowd may have been exposed to it. However, that is no longer the case. Even with almost everyone involved in the Raw Underground team back to work, the word is that WWE will no longer produce the shoot-style fights. Meltzer also noted that due to the recent draft, the segments wouldn't have fit as easily into the show. He also mentioned how WWE was trying to keep NXT talent who serve as the extras away from Raw and SmackDown talent as much as possible due to a fear of a COVID-19 outbreak. So yeah, I was like, yeah, was I even supposed to? What was the end goal of this? What was the end goal of Raw Underground? Like, normally when you do these kind of things, you expect like something, anything to be the big payoff. Braun Strowman defeating Dabakoto, as the guy was actually called, who was, I think, the undefeated fighter, to just lose outright, and there was no one left. Like, who else am I supposed to root for? Like what was the end goal? Like, if the end goal was to get Shayna Baszler and her buddies involved, okay, fine, I would have bought into that, but, like, they don't do intergender matches, so that killed any fun we could have had with it. So, yeah, what was the end goal? I'm a little confused, really. Also, how did that fit easily into the show? Why not just call it WWE on, like, okay, here's my idea. But making it matter thing is more difficult. But here's a way you can fix this whole issue. How about this? You just make Raw Underground WWE Underground, a place where people from both brands can shoot style fight and they can duke it out. So you can have it taped on you can have it taped on Raw or SmackDown, and you can air it as a pilot sort of route for NXT before it airs on the USA Network. That's my idea. Granted, no one really would care, but at least it would make sense. Instead of saying, the draft happened, we couldn't make it fit. But making it matter, that's a much difficult process because I wouldn't know how to. So remember that big dream match that been teasing for both WWE, Dwayne Johnson, Roman Reigns, about how they want to do The Rock versus Roman Reigns, the last big dream match that many people like to call it as. Even though I can think The Undertaker versus Sting, but that match is never gonna happen. How about Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker in a hybrid version of the Firefly Funhouse and the Boneyard match, or how about Bray Wyatt as the Fiend fighting The Rock? Let's do that. So there is a major hurdle regarding what stops it, and this is not the thing. And this is the thing that I kept saying why that match probably won't happen, why you shouldn't expect it. But if it happens, cool. But we're on the go. But at the same time, I mean, it's probably not going to happen because of this. Rock's insurance policies regarding his other upcoming work as an actor has been an issue since the second Cena match, according to Meltzer, which I said also for the last several years. There were plans to have a whole bunch of WrestleMania matches for Undertaker. I mean, for Dwayne Johnson. Like, one storyline, he was supposed to fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30, which would have been awesome. And a ceremonial end to The Rock's career. Then it was then the next year after that was planned to be Triple H. Then the year after that was going to apparently be, The Rock and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie, but never materialized because of those issues. Yet WWE said, let's plant the seeds for Rock and Triple H, even though we know that's not going to happen. So, yeah, The Rock has been reportedly said, I'll put him over, but yeah, but you probably won't be getting that. Like The Rock, I could, like, they could say, well, Rock could just come in, take a spear, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. But I think there's a big problem with that. I don't think The Rock would want to go out like that. He would want to make a spectacle out of it. I don't think he would want to go ahead and just be speared 1, 2, 3, and that's it. The run is over. Like, I don't think that would be Rock's style, especially since they've been building up Roman as the tribal chief of the Samoan dynasty, considering The Rock was the original for many people. And even before that, there was no head of the table guy who brought in the big bucks. But, like, maybe Rocky Johnson. But yeah, so would I like to see Roman and The Rock go at it, especially now with Roman's heel persona, which is awesome, and The Rock and how he's the head of the table, still bringing in the big money, and how he's the world's most powerful man, essentially, in the Hollywood space. Oh yeah, I would definitely want that, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up because Hollywood's gonna be like, Dwayne, we hear you want to do a match with him, but after your little disaster with Cena, we can't allow that because we have insurance policies. So even when there's no virus and there's no movies for scheduled productions that have The Rock in it, insurance will still tell him to fuck off from wrestling. Tragic. Halo Master Chief's Collection newest update landed this week, and it lays the foundation for cross-generation multiplayer support for the Xbox Series X and S. The version is available now on Xbox One and PC. The update makes improvements to cross-generation play in advance of the upcoming launch on the X and Series S hardware. So it looks like Like, yeah, it looks like it is coming to the Xbox Series X and S, and I was all for that. That's the one game I wanted out of all of them to be transitioned. Like, it could be the Master Chief Collection could be the eternal game, so to speak. So, yeah, I'm all for it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. So, now let's see if they can get cross-gen play for get PC and PC users involved, especially for Steam and Windows side of things. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Chrono Trigger, the Final Fantasy inspired Christ Tales, delayed to 2021. Christ Tales was nominated for Best Indie Game at Gamescom 2020. So there was going to be Chrono Trigger, which would have been set afterwards. Christ Tales, the time jumping love letter to Japanese RPG classics like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, and Valkyrie Profile has been delayed to early 2021. Studio Modus Games that has announced. The Indie project began development back in 2014, originally planned for November 17th, but it sounds like the game still needs a few more months to get things right. We are a very small video game company development, and located in the city of I can't pronounce it, Columbia. Christ Tales is the biggest project we have ever worked on. We want to get it right. So they haven't given an exact detail of the release, but it sounds like players raised some issues of the demo, which went live in July. With the release of the demo for consoles, we have seen some of you give us feedback on some fronts that we also want to address, and we want Christ Tales adventure to be narrated in the best possible way. So we hope that you take this extra time as we need to polish this experience, and we're sure you will all love and cherish. So they haven't asked me anything coming. Oh, never mind. It's already over. Probably. Sorry about that. That was that was something else. But yeah, this game's been delayed. I have not played. I don't know much about Christ Tales. I play Final Fantasy, but Chrono Trigger I do not know about. But and Valkyrie Profile. So for those who were playing it, sorry to hear that for everyone. I know y'all must be bummed, but that's the nature of development cycles, especially in light of this era we're living in. StarCraft 2 development ending as Blizzard focuses on what's next. There will be no in a new dev update. Blizzard VP Rob Breidenbecker explained that the studio will continue to support StarCraft 2 by focusing primarily on what our core and competitive communities are care most about. That means no more paid content like Commanders and War Chest, nor any new expansions. That said, balance updates and season roles will continue as normal for the foreseeable future. Also notes that there won't be a Q4 or balance update as Blizzard just released one in August. 2020 marks 10 years since StarCraft 2 was released. Just this year, Blizzard launched one of the game's biggest patches, which adds a suite of new tools and improvements to the editor, improvements to prestige talents for co-op commanders, and some quality of life updates. It seems with these last few substantial changes, Blizzard sees a finished project and is ready to turn its attention elsewhere. So it might be, it's been said, but he did say that the studio will now focus time to plan on something entirely new, not just with StarCraft 2, but for the StarCraft universe as a whole. Whether that means StarCraft 3 or some spin-off entry isn't clear here, but the series itself isn't going anywhere. So I know about StarCraft, I know about StarCraft 2, never played them, but I do know about it. In fact, it was the original Dota game mod that I also heard about. But yeah, I have never played StarCraft and StarCraft 2. So sorry to tell you that. Break the news to you on that. I've tried to play. I played Halo Wars, and I've never been good at the multiplayer stuff. Never been good at real-time strategy, especially with other players. Now, if you make me fight AI, it's okay. I might have a shot. But yeah, I'm not good at real-time strategy games outside of AI components. Sorry about that. Matt Damon trolls Ben Affleck over Robert Pattinson taking his Batman job. So, yeah. So Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are working with Osmo to offer you a chance to post a tweet where they basically play around with each other regarding Robert Pattinson becoming the new Batman. And where he says, where Ben Affleck says, come see Jason Bourne and Batman. And then they said, wait, Robert Pattinson's coming? And yeah, Oh man. Yeah. So yeah. But though at the same time, Batman is also going to be played by Michael Keaton again, and Ben Affleck for the Flash movie. So I think Ben Affleck was right still. So he still wins. So there have been reports going on for a couple of days now about Sony reportedly casting Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield for the Spider-Man 3 event, which seems to be implying the multiverse event, the Into the Spider-Verse event, live action. And Sony said this. Uh, they have received word from Sony that no casting has been confirmed. Those rumors castings are not confirmed, Sony statement reads. The studio statement reads, notice, however, that there's no outright denial that Maguire and Garfield could be back. While the idea of the actors is what is reprising their role seemed like a ludicrous one, fan casting, there have been recent reports that Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange will be Parker's mentor in Spider-Man 3, and Jamie Foxx is reprising his Electro role, have implied a live-action Spider-Verse could be on the cards. And yeah, the original report suggested Maguire and Garfield could appear in Spider-Man 3 and that they would arrive in the final act to help Holland defeat Electro, who would be joined by other Spider-Man villains. But as the studio noted, this isn't confirmed, so it takes a web fistful of salt. So considering how it seems to be hinting that, it seems to be suggesting that, because of the events of Endgame and Infinity War, that, they upset the balance of the cosmos and have unleashed the multiverse upon it, leading to what will become the secret crisis of Marvel. Secret Wars! So I'm pretty sure they're going to go with Hickman's route, where all of the multiverse is converging and incursions are smashing into one another, which is Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. We'll get back to that, but yeah, it seems to be building towards the cosmic scales have been tipped in Marvel's against Marvel now, against the MCU. So it seems to be going for a Secret Wars direction. So look forward to that. Let's see how that goes. So, okay, so Baldur's Gate. Oh man. Someone played Baldur's Gate 200 times to get something right. By using Jump Transmutation spell, he was able to skip a huge swath of the game's map in 30-foot jumps, actually skipping all combat in Baldur's Gate's first act, and somehow beat the video in a speed run in 7 minutes and 89 seconds. Oh. Oh, God. So, I must stress, this is only the early access version. And imagine what's going to happen when the full game comes out and they try to one-up it. I am probably going to lose my mind if someone beats that record. Because they have to have something to do outside. Like, I get there's a pandemic and we're all trapped at home, slowly losing our minds. But, come on. Can we do something more creative than speed runs and 200 attempts to get it right? Okay, moving on. So, Fall Guys introduces a new Slime Survivor playlist has showcased a new Slime Rancher Survivors playlist today. Fall Guys' newest tweet came out saying, "We got a new show hitting Fall Guys in a few hours. Slime Survivor. I've been assured that it's not back-to-back Slime Club and Climb, and it's not actually a mixture of our survival rounds. Hexagon Jumps and Jump Showdown as finals. So they will be blending a mixture of modes before the Hexagon on and Jump Showdown act as one of the two finale games, so you'll firstly be put through a combination of Block Party, Rollout, and yes, Slime Climb, all before you head to one of the two aforementioned moments in the finale. I don't play Fall Guys, so I do not know much about this game. Take it that what you will. So, an actor from WandaVision who, um, let's see, Monica Rambeau's return will, however, be a little different, as Paris will play a grown-up version of the character in WandaVision. In an interview with the Undefeated, Paris spoke about the role, saying via comicbook.com, Monica Rambeau is she's such a badass in the comics. I just can't believe that this is happening. This is a full-on action movie mixed with sitcoms. It's wild. It's wild. I think people will be very excited. And explain how the role was a childhood dream come true. I've always said that I want to be a superhero. Then when the MCU opened up, I think I was in college. It was like I want to be a Marvel superhero. I went to see Iron Man and seeing women in those movies kick ass. I watched those movies and I said I want to do that. I didn't know how or why, because black women were not afforded that opportunity. Most of the women I was watching weren't black. But I was like, sure, whatever, that's not going to happen. And then it happened when I tell you that it wasn't on my radar at the moment. So I'm so happy to be part of this universe. So, Monica Rambeau, yeah, I had to double check to see if I got this right regarding who Monica Rambeau is. And here's the she's basically okay, how do I explain this now? She, how do I say this? She gained superpowers, and she was introduced at the second Captain Marvel, and she gained superpowers after being bombarded by extra-dimensional energies produced by an energy disruptor weapon. So, essentially what happened in the Captain Marvel movie. But if I'm correct, I'm trying to see if I got this right. I could be wrong. What, didn't she go by another alias at once upon a time? No. She was called Photon, Pulsar, Daystar, Spectre, Lady of Light, Monica Marvel, Sun Goddess, and Spectrum. Her powers were energy absorption and generation and manipulation, ability to travel at speeds up to the speed of light while in her energy form, convert her body into an energy form of arm within the electromagnetic spectrum, and travel in energy form through the vacuum of space. So, yeah, I was thinking for a second she was Miss Universe, but I was completely wrong on that. So, okay, we got that. So she's basically going to be a powerful character if it goes the MCU route, if they take more inspiration from the comic books. So, yeah. And WandaVision, I keep looking at WandaVision's trailers and I'm thinking, is this also supposed to be a horror show? Because Wanda's kind of going a little nutso right now due to the death of Vision. And it's not like Wanda has ever lost her mind on that front, right? When it comes to her and Vision and kids. Yeah. So in the UI video, by Sony's user interface video they produced, there was apparently a hinting Easter egg regarding Killzone for the PlayStation 5, and they had to deny these, saying that noted that Killzone appeared front and center yesterday, but it's unlikely the game is going to be transitioned into a full-blown game, and said that no, that's not going to happen. That Sony's been using the Scotty Kenzo name and Avatar since at least 2017, when it's been discussing the PS4 and whatnot. So yeah, the Killzone Shadowfall was the launch game for PS4 back then in 2013, and so, but there's no sign of the series in the PS5 launch games. If we ever do see an entry, it will likely still be some time. So tragically, no, we are not getting Killzone insert number here for PS5. So you got to wait for something else. You can check out these absolute unit of a Mario Yoshi figurine, which apparently costs more than the Xbox Series S. What? Yeah, for it costs. It's 399.99 yen, and that's cost, and compared to actual money or pounds, I think, yeah, pounds. It's on the UK store, Nintendo's official UK store. Considering how much the pounds cost, yeah, it defeats the Xbox Series S. In fact, it might be close to the Xbox Series X in all honesty. Woo! Yeah. So showrunner John Ferreira said in an interview that he has discussed the possibility in a conversation with Variety by praising the scale of Disney's streaming services. He's excited to see where the story leads us and have the flexibility because there's no rulebook now. Things that you would only see in the movie theater, you're seeing on stream. I think it could go the other way as well. Regarding that's saying that we're definitely open to it regarding the idea of a Mandalorian movie. So like I said, they did say that the Mandalorian TV show could also be reverse engineered to be able to become a movie, and I'll be all for that so long as it still, does the immense quality and with a bigger budget, but not have any Disney interferences. Because, damn it, no one wants to deal with Disney politics. So, Marvel's Avengers, the game that we've been playing on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, it was originally going to be updated freely on PS5 and Xbox Series X and X. X has now been delayed to 2021. Until the official launch next year, however, you can still play the game on next-gen consoles via backwards compatibility by inserting the disc or re-downloading Marvel's Avengers. This will grant faster loading times and increase frame rates, and you'll still be able to play with friends on current-gen consoles. So they announced this delay, and part of their state of the game post, which also details there would be a reward path for all current players. There's the bundle grants you 1,500 credits, 7,000 units, 250 upgrade modules, 20 DNA keys, and a Sarah Garza inspired nameplate. So yeah, they're gonna and Kate Bishop has also launched, is being pushed back and will no longer launch in October. When Bishop does arrive, her campaign chapter will take place after the Reassemble campaign, picking up the pieces after the game's main narrative concluded. So yeah, that's been delayed. This has all been delayed. So yeah, that might affect the player base that they said they were trying to struggle to not get out of. So good luck with that. Also, a YouTuber and Unreal Engine developer has put a unique spin on Fall Guys, inserting Melodonic's joyful, bean-filled Bumble Royale into the world of Dark Souls. Oh, God. Fall Guys, the lovable game that looks all colorful, meaning the grim and gritty world of Dark Souls. Oh, man, I don't play Dark Souls because I knew I'd probably get pissed playing it. But, yeah, that's the thing. So, Miles Morales. So, Sony announced on their PlayStation account saying this: earn the endgame trophy in Marvel's Spider-Man PS4 for a chance to win a Lego Spider-Man as Miles Morales minifigure. Finish the game by October 29th and enter to qualify. See the rules for additional details. To enter the sweepstakes, you need to have beaten Marvel's Spider-Man before 11:59 Eastern Standard Time on October 29th and unlock the endgame trophy. When your PSN and ID has that trophy, simply follow the link and you can click on the opt-in button to enter. Oh man, a Lego figurine of Miles Morales! Oh my god, I do not care, so I'm not gonna get interested in this. So, yeah. A New York City first responder is the first consumer to play the Xbox Series X. Michael Santiago is a South Bronx native and the first consumer to try the next-gen console. You lucky bastard. So he praises about everything and saying this. That's wild, man. I can't believe this. And he said it's unbelievable fast. Graphics are insane. That quick resume. That's the future, and I can't wait. I just can't wait to get my hands on it. Like, yeah. Man. Lucky guy. He's very lucky. He's the first consumer to play the Xbox Series X. And it's a New York first responder regarding the virus. So, remember the Rat King from Last of Us Part 2? I didn't play Last of Us Part 2, but there was apparently a Rat King. So apparently what inspired the Rat King was Neil Blomkamp's short film Zygoda. Uh, Another one saying that was inspired by a boss fighting God of War, and the ending fight with the Stalker was inspired by Ellen the Crow from Bloodborne. Okay, so you managed to put all this insanity in here from all these other games, yet you couldn't make a compelling story that doesn't revolve the cycle of vengeance and violence and depressing tone. Whereas what Last of Us Part 1 ended rather closed shut for a lot of people, that even though the spirit world was bad, there was still a sense of optimism. Whereas now it's like, you made the wrong decision. You need to pay for it. We must no longer do the site. We must do more violence and grotesque imagery and condemn anyone who had a different viewpoint. So, yeah. Meanwhile, Assassin's Creed Valhalla has gone gold. On today, my Assassin's Creed Twitter account announced, we're extremely proud to share that Assassin's Creed Valhalla has gone gold. On behalf of everyone working on the game, we can't wait to see how your own Viking saga unfolds. Your journey to glory starts on November 10th, 2020. So, yeah, the game is now gold, so now we just have to wait for when the massive day one patch comes out. So, get ready for that. Tragically, they have hinted in an interview with Kotaku, Phil Spencer is asked about Microsoft's recent acquisition of ZeniMax and the parent company of Bethesda id Software. They have said it is possible to recoup a $7.5 billion investment if you don't sell Elder Scrolls 6 on PlayStation. And all he said was, yes. Spencer elaborates after a pause, making sure to point out that the ZeniMax acquisition was not done to take gains away from another player base like that. However, Spencer does say he thinks about where people are going to be playing and the number of devices that we had, and we have the xCloud and PC and a Game Pass and our console base. I don't have to go ship those games on any other platform other than the platforms that we support in order to kind of make the deal work, whatever that means. So while this isn't an outright confirmation that Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5, if that happens, will release on PS5, it's as close as we've gotten to one. The allure of making a couple of big budget, big sales title Xbox One Series X exclusives has clearly been on Phil Spencer's mind. Don't do it, Phil. Don't do it. You said a case-by-case basis. I'm like, at least it would be more legally sound than, Todd Howard and everything he pulled. False advertising, poisoning the customers, and everything. Oh, God. Oh, God. God. So let's move on to more positive news. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Ahsoka Tano's lightsabers are coming to Galaxy Edge in 2021. Yay! I get to not go to Florida because Florida is insane. Because I do not want to go there. But yeah, I like Ahsoka. She's awesome. I'm stuck on the last level of and like people still saying that they want to see Kyle Katarn's weapon be made, but Disney's like, fuck you. So yeah. Cal Kestis and Ahsoka Tano are joining the fray. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Count Dooku's curved saber with a pointy edge guard thingy from the prequel trilogy. They isn't saying how much these elegant weapons were a more civilization will cost, but previously legacy lightsabers have come around $150 for the hilt. So get ready for that. But I'm pretty sure Ahsoka Tano will make big bucks. Michael B. Jordan is producing a Static Shock film for DC. Well, I'm pretty sure all the Marvel fanatics will scream out "Traitor!" for what he's done. So he's been signed on to produce a feature film based on DC Comics' Static Shock. According to Hollywood Reporter, Jordan will produce a Static Shock movie via his production company, Outliner Society, which has the first look deal with Warner Bros. Pictures. Jordan joins Milestone Media's Reginald Hudlin, who revealed at DC Fandom back in August that the serious conversation about developing a Static Shock movie were taking place, and that would be a theatrical feature film. I'm proud to be part of building a new universe surrounding around black superheroes. Our community deserves that. Outlier Society is committed to bringing life diverse comic book content across all platforms, and we are excited to partner with Reggie and Warner Bros. On this initial step. As such, I would like to direct our attention to the Static Shock TV show as a foundation base. Okay, let's hope this is actually good, but who's going to play Virgil Hawkins? I don't think it's going to be Michael B. Jordan, though I'm pretty sure Killmonger would be very proud of this. Yeah. Star Wars The High Republic editor sheds light on the Great Disaster. So, yeah, yeah, so an event called the Great Disaster, where Star Wars has until now defined it as a great disturbance that knocked all ships all over the galaxy out of their hyperplanes, will serve as a starting point for the books and comics. In the series' New York Comic Con panel, Michael Siglin, the executive editor of the books, elaborated on what happened during the Great Disaster. The Great Disaster is a big inciting incident for the start of our High Republic publishing. It's a time when the galaxy is at peace, great peace and great prosperity. We have the Legacy Run, which is the massive cargo ship traveling through hyperspace, going out to the frontier and is bringing its cargo and supplies. People are looking to start a better life out in the Outer Rim. As it travels through hyperspace, alarms start to flare, and you realize there is something in hyperspace. The Legacy Run is on collision course with it, and there's a disaster, and it's a great one. With pieces of the Legacy Run, including its cargo containers, supplies and passengers' cars rocketing out through hyperspace toward all these unsuspecting planets. That is when the cry goes out for the help, and the Jedi of the High Republic answer that cry. Okay. So, yeah. And some person jokes say, "Oi, Legacy Run is going to be smashed looking through an iceberg," and whatnot, because that's what CBR references. It has unveiled one of the great consequences of the disaster. A group of space pirates known as the Null will try to capitalize on the chaos to raid and pillage vulnerable planets, becoming one of the main threats in the Outer Rim. So good luck with that, everyone. I want to hope that this is good. I'm going to check out the comics, but I don't know about the books, though. I'll probably have to fact check them. So, we have a new character joining the Doctor Strange multiverse in the Multiverse of Madness movie. And it's bringing on someone named, I can't pronounce her first name, so I'm not going to try, but her last name is Gomez. And we may already have a strong idea who she's playing. Deadline broke the news, and Games Radar says they have a good, strong idea who she's playing. Deadline broke the news of her casting in the upcoming movie. Gomez's biggest role so far is playing Dawn Schaefer in Netflix The Babysitter's Club series. But it looks like she may be sharing the stage with Benedict Cumberbatch as the Sorcerer Supreme. But still, our pals, Games Radar's Newsarama, have put together a pretty strong argument for the character Gomez may be playing. American Chavez, the young superhero who was first introduced in the Marvel Comics back in 2011, where she originally went by Miss America after she joined the Young Avengers. We learned that she was not from our reality, but instead a utopian parallel, a place that exists outside the usual multiverse traveling shenanigans we've come to expect from Marvel. So, reports circulated that Disney was looking to cast a teenage girl to play the role of American Chavez as in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and Gomez definitely fits the bill. While it's not confirmed, she could always be playing a new character or someone else entirely, but it stands to reason that Doctor Strange would at some point cross paths with a young woman from beyond space and time. So, yeah. Add all this stuff going on, it does look like the multiverse is going to collapse in on itself. And I will be there to witness the destruction of all life. As we prepare for the Beyonders invading, and they're probably going to destroy all life as well in the process. So, last but not least, we're going to end this video off with a big interview talk that was talked on CBR.com regarding the upcoming one-shot Punchline. Writer Sam Johns teases the Batman's first killer solo special. In an exclusive interview with CBR, Johns teased what fans can expect to the special and what Punchline brings to Gotham and her dynamic with the Joker. So, this is the interview. You're co-writing the Punchline special with James Tyrion IV. How has it been exploring the past and charting the future for the character? It's been fascinating. James and I go way back, so I remember when she was just a twinkle in his eye. There's the idea of what if someone wanted to make the Joker worse? Batman has the great rogues gallery, and there are really dark mirrors of Batman, and Punchline is a really dark mirror of Gotham. Just like, what if its citizens were not inspired by improvement? We got to see a bit of Punchline's backstory in Joker 80th anniversary special earlier this year, and she had a big role in the denouncement to the denouement to Joker War. What did you want to home in on this for this oversized special? I wouldn't really call it an origin story, but we definitely got to see her hear her the Joker for the first time. You're really gonna watch her unfold from the kind of an average person to really just become enthralled with his ideologies. There isn't really a gaining gamma rays or Joker talking that she falls into. This is all her and her belief system, so it's really more about getting in her head than any one particular experience. And talking about Batman having such great rogue galleries, this character has already gotten people talking about ever since she first showed up. What do you think it is about Punchline that makes her stand out? You know, another fun thing about Batman's villains is that I feel they're all sympathetic in their way. You can always see a motivation, you can always see a want, but from the get-go, his eyes has just been very blunt. She's fun to play with. It's like why we're all into true crime. You see evil and there's nothing interesting to understand. Just kind of have to watch to see what unfolds. You don't think of Joker as someone that needs a chaos element in his life, but I really think she provides that. With this, you're working with Makia. I can't pronounce the name. How has it been developing this issue with her? She nailed it from the start. I've had no reservations. Her artwork is beautiful. She was enthusiastic about the script even before we started to do thumbnails. She just got it. Every page she knocked it out of the park. We definitely didn't try to hold back experimenting with panel formatting. I think that's going to be something for everybody. I mentioned you and James have gone way back. How is it that you are collaborating with him on this special, especially with this much real estate? We worked together in the past for a lot of smaller projects. We co-wrote the Hartley Rathaway story and Crimes of Passage, so in terms of actually working together, I think we already know each other's strengths. Just being friends, we have good communication already as a foundation, but this is a character that James obviously has very strong feelings about, so this was really more he told me what he wanted to accomplish in terms of bare plot. I kind of just let him ramble about ideologies and extremism, and I kind of fleshed out that more. I'm more of a humanist dialogue person. I'm darker, so we're very good yin and yang. The big comparison that Punchline has had since her debut is with Harley Quinn, with whom she squared off a couple of times, including in Joker War. As someone who's gotten to explore that headspace, how do you see the two characters and how they stack up? We were talking about dark mirrors earlier, and there's definitely that dark reflection, but when we're talking about the Joker family, we're not talking about a mirror, we're talking about a funhouse. There's definitely some twisted Harley elements, but I still think she exists as her own character, and this story is going to be pulling more of that. It's not really Harley focused, and to a degree, it's not even Joker focused. It's going to be Punchline coming up with what she wants, and it just so happens that Joker's a great teammate for that. It's been suggested that Punchline believes in Joker's IG more than he does, and you mentioned that you tend to go darker than James. How has it been testing the limits there and give the Joker the chaos agent he doesn't necessarily need but has? Not to be a total nerd, but and quote the movie, but when Joker goes, it's like chasing cars, and I don't really have a plan. She's more like a type A personality. She's going to be make it bigger and ask him, yeah, but what if? And part of that, yeah, but what if, is what Joker has really thought of himself, even with his relationship with Harley. Harley was a feature in Joker's life, but what Punchline is looking to do is incorporate more people. She's looking to build a family. She's looking to involve all of Gotham. Punchline is not a solo agent. She's looking to build this. As a quick tangent, you're working on the horror anthology Razorblade. It's with James and C. Fox. How has that been, and what do you find horror brings in the comic book medium that you can't in other forms? So he talks about more about Razorblades and about the anthology stories. And that's pretty much how the interview ends on that front. But they also talk about how he's gotten to do several DC stories now. And is there anything he's keen on tracking on next? Saying, I do have future plans at DC. I don't want to spoil anything. And I wanted to keep me around for a long time, but the gang I haven't seen that I would love is Marge Harriet and Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Maybe it's just growing up with the anime series, but I feel like it's so many people are taking them in a few directions, and I would just love to tell a very human canon story for them. And the ventriloquist, he's so good and subdued. Talking about motivations with Punchline, he's gonna go flow, and I love to see more of him. And what do you hope readers find when they dig into the Punchline special? As much as this is a story about Punchline, it really isn't about Punchline. It's a story about people interact with their idols, and I think it's about chasing your idols, and it's about awareness. I think it's meta that fans will be reading a piece about getting ideas out into the world, and how that interacts with fandom, and gets moving all over the place. I hope it gets people thinking about Punchline, but I hope it gets people thinking about how they process media as well. Punchline showed up right around the same time as Clown Hunter. They feel like opposite sides of the same coin, and in talking about Dark Mirrors, they feel like they're both reflective of Gotham in different ways. I see a juxtaposition between the two very different characters. They both have so much more story to tell. I don't even want to assume what's going on in James' head. He's kind of like his own supervillain in regards, very Machiavellian with Gotham. I can't imagine, and they play nice with each other. Clown Hunter, as I've read him, I haven't played with the character yet and said anything definitively. He's like actually ready to take action. Punchline is very, very slow and considered, and Clown Hunter is just sick of it and going to do something about it and not wait for permission. So that ends that big interview that CBR had with him. So Punchline comes out in November. I'm excited to check that out and see what they can bring more to the table of her. But that's it. So yeah, Punchline #1 comes out on November 10th for DC Comics. So look forward to that, everyone. And that's about it for this whole week of news and everything. Man, this was fun. Can't wait to talk to you guys next week about this, but we're going to do more video projects along the way. Hey, this was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you all next time. Peace. And 2 sweet.